Good day, good people, and welcome to Contemplation and Inner Being. Tonight we are continuing our exploration of holding the tension. If you will, let me know in the chat that you can hear me okay. And Benita says she is hearing, so thank you very much for that. I am doing a couple of last minute tech things. We will go directly into our time of silence to let this time center us in. Let us be present to the moment. Let us open ourselves to God's presence and action in our lives. Friends, wisdom is not a static concept. It is a dynamic presence that embodies paradox, and it pervades all creation. In the book of Wisdom, chapter 7, where wisdom is referred to as she is described as the one who makes all things new and who in each generation passes into holy souls. This poetic insight reveals the timeless and transformative nature of divine wisdom. It is not confined to intellectual understanding, but it manifests in ways that challenge and inspire us. Wisdom invites us to see beyond dualistic thinking, offering a vision of reality where contradictions coexist harmoniously. Through this lens, we learn that wisdom's qualities, subtlety, benevolence, and invulnerability, reflect not only divine reality, but also our own human potential. To embrace wisdom is to step into a deeper awareness of life's intricacies and to find a balance that transcends the binaries of right and wrong, light and dark, gain and loss. Because paradox is essential for a deeper understanding of life and spirituality. Reality itself is inherently paradoxical. Just as Paul says in 2 Corinthians 12, "When I am weak, then I am strong." This statement captures the essence of spiritual transformation, where apparent contradictions reveal profound truths. Richard Rohr reminds us that reality is paradoxical. If we are honest, everything is a clash of contradictions. And our natural inclination to divide the world into neat, clean categories often blinds us to the fullness of truth. Paradox challenges us to move beyond this dualistic mindset, opening the door to a wisdom that holds tensions and complexities. So this perspective allows us to approach life's mysteries with humility and curiosity rather than fear and rigidity. Learning to love paradox becomes a spiritual practice that fosters peace and clarity amid life's inherent contradictions. Jesus embodies the ultimate paradox by serving as the model for spiritual understanding and transformation. And the Gospels repeatedly present Christ as a figure who transcends conventional categories. Jesus, as the icon of Christ's consciousness, is the very template of total paradox, human yet divine, physical yet spiritual, killed yet alive, powerless yet powerful. This duality invites us to see Jesus not only as an object of worship, but as a reflection of our own spiritual journey. In recognizing the paradoxical nature of Christ, we come to embrace the contradictions within ourselves, understanding that these tensions are not obstacles, but pathways to deeper connection with the divine. Mystical teachings, science, and contemplative spirituality converge in their acceptance of paradox, which they view as a pathway to deeper understanding. While Western Christianity often reduces paradoxes to dogmatic statements requiring intellectual agreement, the wisdom tradition teaches that we must learn to love paradox, or we will never be wise. Because true wisdom arises from an experiential encounter with mystery rather than rigid adherence to doctrine. This approach encourages us to dwell in the space of unknowing, trusting that the answers we seek will emerge not from resolution, but from relationship with the divine. By holding these tensions, we participate in a spiritual unfolding that transforms both our understanding and our being. Reverend Otis Moss III has shared quite a bit of wisdom that I have included this evening, including that the experience of living as a black person of faith in America involves holding the tension between despair and hope. It's a reality that's eloquently expressed in the phrase, being black means you are born with a blues song tattooed on your heart, and at the same time you still have a gospel shout that is welling up in your soul. This duality encapsulates the resilience required to navigate systemic oppression while maintaining faith and joy. It is a lived paradox that demands strength, creativity, and profound spiritual depth. We can hear it in the cry of the psalmist in Psalm 42, "Why, my soul, are you downcast? Why so disturbed within me? Put your hope in God." And this echoes the experience of living in the tension between lamentation and hope. Understanding systemic injustice and historical repression can lead to despair, yet it also sparks transformation and transformative action and hope. Reverend Otis Moss captures this tension with the wisdom of an elder who said, "I'm living between, oh Lord, and thank you, Jesus." This lived experience of oscillating between lamentation and gratitude reflects the depth of faith required to persevere. It challenges individuals to confront difficult truths while remaining rooted in a vision of redemption and possibility. This paradoxical stance, where sorrow and praise coexist, it mirrors another psalmist's dual cry of lament and trust in Psalm 130. "Out of the depths I cry to you, Lord. I wait for the Lord, my whole being waits." It is with this tension that transformative power resides. Rosa Parks exemplifies the paradox of action and surrender, demonstrating how individual acts of courage can catalyze societal transformation. She sat down so you could stand up. And Parks' protest was both an act of defiance and a symbol of strength rooted in humility and nonviolence. Her story teaches that seemingly contradictory actions, submission and resistance, can coexist to create profound change. And this echoes the teaching of Jesus, who instructed his followers in Matthew to turn the other cheek. And that's not a passive submission. It is an active, nonviolent resistance that disrupts oppressive systems. So Rosa Parks' example challenges us to embody this paradox in our own pursuit of justice and peace. Living in the space between despair and hope is a sacred act, requiring faith in the face of uncertainty. Only God can teach you to do two things that sound contradictory at the same time. This spiritual paradox invites believers to embrace the tension between their current struggles and their ultimate vision of justice and liberation. And it reflects the faith of Abraham in Romans 4, who, against all hope, in hope believed. So this tension is not a sign of weakness. It is a testament to the strength of faith that endures even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. Encountering and living with contradictions offers a profound opportunity to deepen our connection with the divine. Richard Rohr emphasizes the times when we meet or reckon with our contradictions are often turning points, opportunities to enter into the deeper mystery of God. So rather than avoiding or resolving tensions, embracing them allows us to experience the depth and richness of God's mystery. And as Kid President says, and it hurts, man. And as Paul writes in Romans 5, we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. It is through these encounters with contradiction that we are invited into a transformative relationship with the divine, where suffering becomes a doorway to grace. So the paradox of falling into the abyss and being grounded challenges our conventional understanding of stability and surrender. Falling into the abyss is ironically an experience of ground, of the rock, of the foundation. This profound truth highlights the spiritual paradox where surrender leads to support and vulnerability reveals strength. Hear the words from Matthew 16 where Jesus says, "Whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it." It reminds us that true stability comes not from control, but from trust in God's sustaining presence. And by allowing ourselves to enter the unknown, we encounter a limitless and embracing divine reality. Friends, spiritual maturity involves learning to hold questions and contradictions patiently, resisting our ego's urge for quick resolution. The source of spiritual wisdom is to hold questions and contradictions patiently, much more than to find quick certitudes. We Americans just love quick certitudes. And this practice aligns with the wisdom of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 3, there is a time for everything, a time to be silent and a time to speak. Patience in the face of ambiguity fosters a deep trust in the mystery of life, allowing contradictions to unfold into wisdom. And this process teaches us that answers emerge not through force, but through faithful engagement with the questions themselves. Navigating life's tensions requires the support of spiritual companions who can guide us through liminal spaces. You know, a mature friend or a good spiritual director will companion us as we learn how to negotiate the darkness. These kind of relationships reflect the biblical call in Galatians 6 to bear one another's burdens, offering a communal dimension to spiritual growth. So with the guidance of trusted companions, we can embrace non-dual consciousness, finding peace in the complexity and mystery of life. And through this journey, we learn to trust the process of spiritual growth and to view life's tensions not as obstacles, but as invitations to deeper union with God. So let's carry this into silent meditation together, and then on the other side, we will highlight some of the key points tonight. We'll take a few minutes just to provide a little recap, and if you'd like to share anything in the chat, or you can certainly do that. Let's see, what might I highlight here? Paradox is essential for our spiritual understanding because it dismantles our default method of dualistic thinking, putting things in terms of either or. And so that allows us to have a deeper grasp of complex truths. Let's see, what else can I share? And I think the more that we become aware of paradox, the more we realize how it is fundamental to reality. Yeah, I see in the chat there the echoing of this living between extremes, such as, oh Lord, and thank you, Jesus. I don't know if anyone would like to share. I would be interested to see what you had to share in regards to falling into the abyss and being grounded, and how that paradox illustrates that transformative nature rather than trying to resist it. So spiritual, yeah, go ahead, Benita. Oh, I see. Hold on one second. I have the mute turned off, don't I? And I need to be able to hear you. So.
It was timely to discuss the tension and using Otis Moss, what is it? OM3's words, so that I can be mindful that I will be experiencing living in the tension, especially since Monday. And I can't be I can't say I'll be prepared. I'll just know what I'm going through. Even today, reflecting on comments made about Bishop, is it Bude? Marianne, and experiencing the tension of someone speaking up and then getting angry about the response. But hey, this is where we are, or where I am, and to just remind myself, and possibly what I need to do is go get those words, blues on the heart and the gospel shout. So that helps me today.
Well, thank you for sharing. I often, well, I don't know about often, but occasionally when I have the opportunity to teach about intuition, I almost always get the question about, how do you practice intuition? How do you know it's intuition? And what I offer is that the only way that I can really tell anyone how is that you have to start listening to it. And you have to do it in little steps, right? You don't want to try to think, that a big life change is, some intuition that you're having. But there are the little ones that happen, during the week. And if you just start listening to them, and responding to them as though they are actual intuitions, then you start developing kind of a resonance with that, and then the bigger intuitions start to really connect in a different way. And the same, I said all that to say that it's the same way with paradox, that to really grow in understanding and holding the tensions with paradoxes and living the questions is just to start practice, and living with some of the smaller ones to when that uncomfortable situation arises and there's a choice, you just sit with it and not really try to decide either way. You just be present to it and see what arises from that. Okay, friends, whether you were here for the live session or watched the recording, thank you so much for continuing to tune in. I'm going to try to make some changes in the next week or two. I think that we will be back on the Mighty Network, but I'm also going to make the videos available to the community through YouTube. So you'll see them in the newsletter as well as on the YouTube site. May the paradoxes of life lead you deeper into the mystery of divine love, where contradictions reveal truth and tensions become paths of grace. As you walk in faith, may you find strength in surrender, wisdom in questions, and grounding in the unknown. Go forth with courage, held by the boundless embrace of the One who makes all things new. Blessings to all. Good night.